The EU and Great Britain still have 1 week to agree on a trade deal on Brexit. The fronts are still hardened. One of the biggest controversies is fishing rights. Although the industry is tiny, the UK and France don't want to give way here. The British and French have fought many battles on the English Channel over the past 900 years. A new edition has been brewing for years. British and French fishermen fight over fishing grounds between Normandy and England's south coast. These disputes are quite tangible. 2 years ago, for example, French fishermen rammed British boats and pelted the fishermen with stones to drive them away. The long-standing dispute has long since reached politics. When negotiations began at the beginning of the year for a trade agreement between the EU and Great Britain, which is to apply from January 1st, French President Emmanuel Macron set a red line early on. French fishermen must still have the right to enter British waters from 2021 to fish. And the president doesn't take a step backwards. In fact, the entire negotiations are threatened to fail at this point, which appears unimportant for outsiders. Fishing accounts for their numbers differ between 0.01% and 1% of the UK's gross domestic product. Only 180,000 people are employed in this industry in the entire EU. But the coastal regions in the south of England and the north of France often live from precisely this source of income. For Boris Johnson on the one hand and Macron on the other, it is also about important votes. The coastal waters on both sides of the English Channel are considered to be the richest in fish in the entire EU. They are divided between the two countries by a median line. A tricky thing though, because the two islands of Guernsey and Jersey belong to Great Britain, this line sometimes comes close to the French mainland coast. This caused wild discussions as early as 1973, when Britain joined the EU. Since then there has been a barter trade. French, but also Dutch and Danish fishermen are allowed to fish in certain quantities in British waters, while British fishermen can land in French ports and sell their catch. Here they often get more money for it, and they save the long drive back to the island. 55% of the British fishing quotas, worth around 175 million euros, are given to foreign fishermen, as the British BBC has calculated. A fact that is a thorn in the side not only for British fishermen but also for politics. Johnson promised his constituents that he would take the fishing industry completely into their own hands again after Brexit. British waters for British fishermen, so to speak. But at this point, Macron totally disagrees. It is supported by the Netherlands and Denmark, which also wish to retain access to British waters, albeit to a lesser extent. For many other EU countries, the dispute is getting annoying. They fear that in the end, the whole deal could fail on this small point. On Thursday, EU Chief Negotiator Michel Barnier therefore met with members of the French Parliament. It is also about finding possible compromise proposals for the EU summit on October 15th and 16th. A Brexit deal is supposed to be concluded there, or it will fail there. If there is no deal, it would of course be a disaster, said Jean Pierpont, MP from Boulogne, a region that lives heavily from fishing, and he said that to Bloomberg. But fishing should not be sacrificed or sold as a result, he said. A possible compromise could look like this in their eyes. If the British give in on the subject of fishing and maintain the previous rules with the EU will accommodate London on other issues, such as the question of how British banks can continue to operate in the Union. Johnson might enter into such a deal, but the British fishermen, like their French counterparts, are unwilling to compromise. There will be no trade. Fishing is an absolute priority for the UK, said Barry Dees, head of the Fisheries Association, earlier this year after meeting UK Chief Negotiator David Frost. The fishermen are badly battered. The catch quotas have halved since the 1970s, and the number of employees has also fallen sharply. Today only around 12,000 Britons live from fishing. They hoped that with Brexit they would regain more rights and thus more income. But French fishermen on the other side of the canal are no better off. Bruno Margoli's family has been fishing sole and cod from the canal for 300 years. If he is no longer allowed to fish in British waters, it will be his end, as he reports to the British Financial Times. This is my death. I don't have a plan B. I owe €1 million. What should I do then? Shoot me? That's his statement to this. And if you now want to know more about European politics or global politics, YouTube has chosen another of my videos right here for you in the end screen, right next to your chance to subscribe to my channel, which I hope you do. I'll see you in my next video. Click and enjoy. Viel Spaß!